Once the country's ruling party, the ANC's reign has come to an end. The party has failed to amass the required 51% or more votes at the National Assembly. From 57% in the 2019 elections, ANC only obtained 40% of the votes. This means they may need to form a coalition government with other parties. But how did the ANC fall? What factors contributed to this? To understand this defeat, let us go back to where it all started. In 1994, the African National Congress, ANC, achieved a historic victory in South Africa's first democratic elections. Led by Nelson Mandela, the ANC transitioned from a liberation movement to the governing party, symbolizing the end of apartheid and the beginning of a new era. Mandela's presidency focused on reconciliation and nation-building, setting the stage for a hopeful future. The ANC's foundation dates back to 1912 when it was established to advocate for the rights of Black South Africans against the oppressive policies of the time. Throughout the apartheid era, the ANC evolved from a political organization to a liberation movement, engaging in both peaceful protests and armed struggle through its military wing, Umkhonto we Sizwe. Mandela's presidency was marked by significant achievements, including the establishment of a new constitution and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which aimed to heal the nation's wounds from decades of racial segregation. However, underlying issues like economic inequality and unemployment persisted, laying the groundwork for future challenges. Thabo Mbeki succeeded Mandela in 1999, inheriting a nation eager for economic progress. Mbeki's administration focused on economic reforms and HIV/AIDS denialism, which stirred controversy. His macroeconomic policy, known as GEAR, Growth, Employment, and Redistribution, aimed at stabilizing the economy and attracting foreign investment. However, it was criticized for not addressing the socio-economic disparities that plagued the country. Mbeki's tenure saw the implementation of the Black Economic Empowerment (BEE) program in 2003, designed to redress inequalities. While well-intentioned, BEE was often seen as benefiting a small elite, failing to significantly improve the lives of the broader population. The ANC's reputation began to suffer as allegations of corruption surfaced, notably involving the controversial arms deal scandal that implicated key figures, including future President Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma's presidency, beginning in 2009, marked a tumultuous period for the ANC. His leadership was marred by scandals and allegations of widespread corruption, most infamously the state capture involving the Gupta family. Zuma's tenure saw increased factionalism within the ANC, and public confidence in the party waned. The ANC's internal strife was evident in the 2008 recall of President Mbeki, which led to the formation of a splinter party, the Congress of the People, COP. Zuma's administration struggled with economic challenges, high unemployment rates, and poor service delivery. These issues were exacerbated by perceptions of nepotism and patronage, contributing to growing public discontent. The decline of the ANC coincided with the rise of opposition parties like the Democratic Alliance, DA, and the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF. The DA, traditionally seen as a party for the white minority, began to attract a more diverse electorate by focusing on issues of governance and accountability. The EFF, founded by former ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema, appealed to younger voters with its radical stance on land reform and economic justice. The DA's success in governing the Western Cape and major municipalities showcased an alternative to ANC rule, emphasizing effective service delivery and anti-corruption measures. Meanwhile, the EFF's fiery rhetoric and populist policies resonated with those frustrated by persistent inequality and unemployment, further eroding the ANC's support base. Cyril Ramaphosa's election as ANC president in 2017 brought hopes of renewal and reform. Ramaphosa, a former trade union leader and businessman, promised to tackle corruption and revitalize the economy. His presidency, however, faced significant obstacles, including resistance from entrenched factions within the ANC and the lingering effects of Zuma's tenure. Efforts to address state capture and improve governance were met with mixed results. While some progress was made in restoring the credibility of institutions like the National Prosecuting Authority, challenges such as economic stagnation and public distrust persisted. The ANC's internal divisions continued to hamper Ramaphosa's reform agenda, contributing to the party's declining electoral fortunes. South Africa's economic woes have been a significant factor in the ANC's decline. High unemployment rates, slow economic growth, and widespread poverty have fueled social discontent. The ANC's inability to deliver on its promises of economic empowerment and job creation has alienated many voters, particularly the youth. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated these challenges, leading to increased unemployment and further straining public services. The government's response to the pandemic was criticized for inefficiencies and corruption, such as the mismanagement of relief funds, which damaged the ANC's credibility further. Corruption scandals have plagued the ANC over the past decades, eroding public trust. From the arms deal in the early 2000s to the state capture scandal during Zuma's presidency, allegations of corruption have been a constant shadow over the party. These scandals have not only affected the ANC's reputation, but also diverted resources away from essential services and development projects. Efforts to combat corruption have been inconsistent, with many high-profile cases dragging on for years without resolution. The perception that the ANC is more interested in protecting its leaders than in governing effectively has further damaged its standing among voters. Internal factionalism has significantly weakened the ANC. The party has often been divided between different ideological camps and personal loyalties, leading to a lack of coherent policy direction and infighting. This has made it difficult for the ANC to present a united front or to effectively address the country's challenges. Factionalism was particularly evident in the power struggle between supporters of Zuma and Ramaphosa. These divisions have often spilled over into public spats and policy paralysis, undermining the ANC's ability to govern effectively and eroding public confidence in its leadership. Amidst the turmoil within the ANC, a new party emerged on the political landscape. Mkhonto we Sizwe, MK, named after the ANC's former armed wing, was formed by disillusioned ANC members who felt that the party had lost its way. Led by charismatic leaders, MK attracted a significant following, promising to bring about change and eradicate corruption. In a shocking turn of events, former President Jacob Zuma, a prominent figure within the ANC, left the party to join MK. Zuma's departure marked a significant blow to the ANC's credibility, as he was seen as both a symbol of the party's struggle and a controversial figure plagued by corruption allegations. The 2024 elections marked a significant turning point for the ANC. For the first time since the end of apartheid, the ANC's share of the vote fell below 50%, capturing only 40.2% of the vote. This historic loss can be attributed to a combination of factors, including economic mismanagement, corruption, and the rise of credible opposition parties like the DA and EFF. The election results reflected the growing disillusionment among South Africans with the ANC's leadership and governance. Many voters, especially the younger generation, turned to alternative parties that promise change and accountability. The ANC's decline in the 2024 elections signals a new era in South African politics. The once dominant party now faces the challenge of rebuilding its credibility and addressing the root causes of its decline. The rise of opposition parties like the DA and EFF suggests a more competitive political landscape where power is more evenly distributed, and coalition governments may become the norm. Looking ahead, the ANC will need to implement significant reforms to regain the trust of the electorate. This includes addressing corruption, improving governance, and delivering on economic promises. The future of South African politics will likely be shaped by how effectively the ANC can reinvent itself and whether opposition parties can provide sustainable alternatives. The fall of the ANC from the country's majority party to an organization struggling to maintain its majority reflects the complexities of governance in post-apartheid South Africa. Economic challenges, corruption, factionalism, and the rise of opposition parties have all contributed to its decline. As South Africa moves forward, the political landscape will continue to evolve, with new dynamics and challenges shaping the nation's future.